And welcome back to Falcon Park. Here, a game two between the Jamestown Tarp Skunks and the Auburn Doubledays of a split game doubleheader. It's just a tick after 4:37 here in Auburn, New York. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for game two, as announced by both managers. First for the visitors in the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, as announced by manager Jordan Bazil. Leading things off, the center fielder Paul Catalano batting second. The shortstop Grady Mee batting third. The third baseman Matt Thompson batting fourth. The extra hitter in Evan Fragala batting fifth will be the designated hitter in Luke Fuller batting sixth. Will be the second baseman Zach Kent batting seventh. The right fielder Drew Garth batting eighth. Will be the catcher Ryan Middleman batting 10th. The third baseman Cooper Monroe and batting 10th. Batting ninth was Cooper Monroe batting 10th. Rounding off the order, Alex Alstrom, the left fielder. Cooper Polkovich takes the mound for the Doubledays this afternoon in game two. Let's see how the defense lines up behind him. Going from left to right, B.J. Banyan out in left field. A.J. Wenrich in center. Logan Kowalski out in right field. Logan and James Mason over at third base. Carson Gross at shortstop. Riley Brody at second. And Garrett Prosper at first base with Benji Reese doing the catching. The left-hander for the Doubledays is ready. The first pitch delivered, a fastball with a swing and a miss, and we are underway. 4:38 local time for first pitch here in game two. Doubledays took game one earlier this afternoon. A line drive into right center field over towards the gap. Logan Kowalski glides over and makes the catch for out number one. And that's how we begin things here in game number two of our second game today. Another 7-inning affair between the Tarp Skunks and the Doubledays. Auburn currently leads in the season series 3-0 over the Tarp Skunks after the game one victory earlier. Here's the first pitch on the way. A breaking ball in there for a called first strike. 0-1 on Grady Mee. Quick turnaround after last game. Polkovich back on the mound ready. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. A fastball on the hands ties up Mee. Now down 0-2, taking an extra second to step out of the box and readjust the batting gloves. Cooper's ready on the mound, working from the third base side of the rubber. Left arm sleeve on. Comes set from the ear. Looks into Benji. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way, swinging a ground ball over the third base. James Mason has got it. Low throw, dug out at first base by Prosper. Nice long hop delivered by Mason, 2 away, and that will bring up Matt Thompson, the third baseman. Doubledays won game one of this season series all the way back on June the 9th, back at home on Friday. Jack Connolly, no longer with the ball club, got the start. Joe Gleason threw 3 innings of shutout baseball to earn himself a save. Here comes the first pitch on the way from Polkovich. A breaking ball taken down low. Check swing. Does he go around? No, he does not, says the field umpire. Count goes to 1-0. Looks in, gets his sign. Here comes the 1-0 pitch from Polkovich. Good fastball on the outside corner. Gets a swing and strike one. The count evens up at 1. Thompson, back in game one, was a 1-for-3, caught stealing in the 7th inning. He was the final out. Left-hander deals the 1-1 pitch. Swinging a jam shot back to the screen, foul from the first base side. Now the count runs to a ball and 2 strikes. And Cooper was quick onto the rubber back on the first 2 pitches of this at-bat after the foul ball, taking a little bit extra time before working his way back onto the rubber. Had to quickly get ready and warmed in between games 1 and 2. Only had about a half hour to work with. The left-hander comes set. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive. Cracked into left field. Going out to get it down the line is B.J. Banyan. He's there to make the catch, and that retires the side. 1-2-3 go the Tarp Skunks in the top of the first inning. We go to the bottom half. Jamestown 0 in the Doubledays coming up. And welcome back to Falcon Park here in the bottom half of the first inning between the Tarp Skunks and the Doubledays. Let's take a look at Auburn's lineup as announced by manager Ben Julian. Leading things off, the shortstop, Carson Gross, batting second. The extra hitter, Fernando Espinal, batting third. The designated hitter, Hazel Martinez, batting fourth. The center fielder, A.J. Wenrich, batting fifth. The first baseman, Garrett Prosper, batting sixth. The catcher, Benji Reese, batting seventh. The second baseman, Riley Brody, batting eighth. The third baseman, James Mason, batting ninth. The right fielder, Logan Korowski, and batting 10th, rounding off the order, the left fielder, B.J. Banyan. And here comes Carson Gross to lead us off for the bottom half of the first inning. First time seeing a right-hander today for the Doubledays. Had a tough going against Evan Chafee and Andrew Ayers, the left-handers in game one. The first pitch to Gross is a fastball that misses upstairs for ball one at 89. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, this is going to be a tough one today. A fastball taken on the outside edge at 87 for a called strike. It's 1-1. Joe Reitbach has the mound for Jamestown. A line drive into shallow center field. Dropping in, laying out. Does he make the catch? Paul Catanalo does haul it in and takes a base hit away from Carson Gross in the bottom half of the first inning. That will bring up Fernando Espinal after a fine athletic play in center. Espinal looks at the first pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. A fastball top of the zone gets a swinging strike 0-1. From the windup, here's the 0-1 on the way. Breaking ball taken on the outside corner for a called strike 2. Espinal not agreeing with the call from the home plate umpire tonight. Quickly down 0-2 the pitch. Breaking ball misses a little bit more off the plate away for ball one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Doubleheaders never an easy game to play. Most doubleheaders end up in splits at the college level. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Espinal goes down on strikes. A fastball at the outside gets strikeout number 1 for Reitbach. 2 away, and that will bring up Hazel Martinez. Hazel, an RBI single back in game 1. Went 1 for 2. A hit by pitch. He also came in to score. And here comes the left-handed heavy pull shift. The first pitch. Swinging a pop-up flare down the right field. Make that the left field side. But it slices off into the corner, foul ball. First pitch tonight at 4:38. Game 1 was rather quick. Start time was at 2:03. The finish was at 3:56. The 0-1 on the way to Martinez is a fastball taken upstairs for ball 1 at 90 miles an hour. We have seen plenty of heat over the last couple of days. The 1-1 pitch, a fastball taken down and outside. Maybe even a changeup at 86 for strike 2, and now Martinez is down 1-2. Batavia starter was hucking it into the 90s as well. Last night, the 1-2 pitch, fastball spiked in the dirt. For a ball, it's now 2-2. Grady Mee playing to the other side of the second base bag. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way to Martinez. Swinging another foul ball, third base side off into the distance. So I'll retry everything at 2 balls and 2 strikes. These long doubleheader days are just grinds to get through, but knowing that there's a day off tomorrow makes it feel a little bit easier. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a fly ball into the shift into shallow right center field. Who wants it? Grady Mee calls off this second baseman, Zach Kent. Waits for the ball to come down and makes the catch to retire the Doubledays. We now go to the top of the second inning. Our score, the Tarp Skunks 0 and the Doubledays 0. Picking things up here in the top half of the second inning, the Doubledays and the Tarp Skunks both looking at zeros on the scoreboard after the first inning. Cooper Polkovich back out for his second inning of work. He will face the meat of the order, 4, 5, and 6. Evan Fragala, Luke Fuller, and Zach Kent due up against the Doubledays' young left-hander. The first pitch delivered, a breaking ball swung on and missed on the inside half at 79. Polkovich with a good fastball will have arm side run, mixes in a slider as well as a changeup. Here's the 0-1 on the way. Fastball runs upstairs and outside for ball one. Count evens up at 1-1. Hit 85 on the radar gun above the warning track. Make that above the scoreboard in right center field. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Polkovich. Swung on and missed. Back to this glove. Benji Reese. It's now 1-2. Sun's shining down here inside of Falcon Park. We will not have to experience the lighting tonight. The 1-2 on the way from Polkovich is swung on and missed for strike 3. First strikeout of the ball game for the Doubledays' young left-hander. And that's one away to bring up Luke Fuller. Well, Cooper's going right after these Jamestown hitters, no question about it. Here is the first pitch on the way to Luke Fuller. It's a breaking ball taken outside for ball one. Taking an extra second before throwing the hat back on the top of the head. Working from the extreme third base side of the rubber, delivers the pitch. Breaking ball cued towards the dugout. Doubledays defense spread wide. Carson Gross anchoring the deep 6-hole with Riley Brody on the outfield turf. Deeper in the 4-hole. Left-hander looks in. Here comes the pitch on the way. Swinging a foul back to the screen. Try now with 2 strikes. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count here. With the wind blowing out now to dead center field. The flag in left center field has been swollen just a little bit, but now is being blown out straight away. Couple of shakes of the head before coming to a nod. Benji sets up inside off the plate. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball painted on the inside corner for a called third strike. Luke Fuller looks shocked by the home plate umpire, now taking the trip back to the dugout. Back-to-back tickets punch for Cooper Polkovich. 2 away, that will bring up Zach Kent. The left-hander delivers the first pitch. Swinging a pop-up on the infield. Reese off of the mask, running out of room behind the plate, and it's into the netting over the shelf for a foul ball. Well, Cooper does come from a line of a baseball family, does have a cousin in the Seattle Mariners organization, ranked as the number 26th prospect. That's his cousin, Caden, currently with the Modesto Nuts in the lower A system in the California League. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Looping breaking ball taken on the inside corner at the knees for a called strike 2. So now 1 strike away from a clean first 2 innings of work. Couple of shakes, now a nod. Reese sets up outside off the plate. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball wasted outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Delivers a good fastball at 86. That's the hardest he's thrown one so far this afternoon. First pitch of Game 1 was a sunny 78 degrees. We haven't checked the thermometer yet, if that number has climbed up even more. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way, swinging a line drive foul, first base side off into the crowd down below. And it has indeed got a little bit hotter. It's now 80 degrees inside the ballpark. Humidity has dropped, though, a little bit. It's now 68%. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Check swing. Does he go around? Yes, he does, says the home plate umpire. Reese's throw over to first base is in time to retire the side. Cooper Polkovich sends them in order, strikes out the side. We now go to the bottom half of the second inning. The Skunks, nothing, and the Days, nothing. Picking things up here in the bottom half of the second inning, A.J. Wenrich, Garrett Prosper, and Benji Reese, 4, 5, and 6, due up against Joe Reitbach. Delivers the first pitch, a check swing from A.J. is skewed foul. It's now 0-1 the count to the Doubledays center fielder. A.J., we've seen him play center field a couple of times so far this year. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball, taken upstairs for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike evens up the count. Played a lot of center field when Christian Bauman was sent home by his coach to rest up for the year. The 1-1 pitch, swung on, fouled back to the screen. A little tardy, it's now 1-2. And when Tommy Roldan went on the IL as well, did open up some more space in right field. Unfortunately for the Doubledays, they had to fill it. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball pulled off the outside corner for ball 2. The count evens up at 2-2. Down below, Bobby Stang and Kevin Dolan handing out the 50-50s and finding some kids to sign baseballs for. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken upstairs. They're going to check his swing. No, he does not, says the field umpire. Count runs full 3-2. Big thanks to the Booster Club for the support over the last couple weeks. A 3-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Strikeout number 2 for Reitbach. Gets A.J. Wenrich on a tough inside fastball. Twirls his hands a little. I'll bring up Garrett Prosper. But the Booster Club sent a bus down to Batavia for fans to hop on and get a ride to the Muck Dogs ballpark. The first pitch to Prosper is a fastball taken on the outside corner for a called strike. It's 0-1. The right-hander delivers the pitch. Taken on the outside, off the plate away for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike evens up the count. We like the quick reactions from the home plate umpire with the calls, balls, and strikes. The 1-1 pitch on the way, swinging a line drive off the hand of the bat and into right center field for a base hit. Garrett Prosper sneaks one past the second baseman, Zach Kennan, on it to Drew Garth in right field. It's the first hit of the ball game for both ball clubs. And that will bring up Benji Reese. Prosper's first hit against the Tarp Skunks since his RBI single back on Friday night to open up the scoring. The first pitch on the way to Reese. Swung on and missed a fastball. A little tardy at 88 at the knees for a called first strike. It's 0-1. Still a great crowd on hand now for the game 2. A lot more filled up in the ballpark. Moving to first base, back in with a dive safely is Prosper. As the royal blue right oven mitt on to protect his glove hand. We've seen a lot more of those accessories over the last couple of years booming. Here comes the 0-1 pitch on the way. Slider pulled off the plate outside for ball 1. The count will even up at 1-1. A lot of fans trying to take shelter under the shade here behind the plate, but a good amount are braving the sun elements down the lines. That's where we would rather be for sure instead of up in the AC. A move over to first base, and it picked out by the first baseman, Cooper Monroe. One ball, 1 strike, 1 away with a runner aboard. Right-hander comes, set, looks in, the 1-1. Fastball runs upstairs at 87 for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Full bullpen once again for the Doubledays after Huxley Holcomb went 5 innings. Joe Gleason went 1, and then Michael Sills got the save. Prosper the lead at first, the 2-1. Swing, line drive, left field, hooking away down the line and foul, and will rattle up against the Doubledays bullpen. The count will even up to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 50-50 raffle going on, and that will be later announced later in the ball game. Someone will take home half the pot. Good crowd, so it must be a little bit better odds here as now time is called. Reese is going to readjust the batting gloves. Good family fun atmosphere here inside Falcon Park for the summer. Just a couple more weeks left here. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Slider taken down and away for ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So now you could possibly put the game in motion. Prosper, the runner aboard at first base. Reese with decent bat-to-ball skills. So here we go. Let's see what can happen here. Prosper with his lead. Takes off. The pitch is a fastball taken for strike 3. The throw to second base. Garrett Prosper slides in safely ahead of the tag. Reese sees strikeout number 3 of the afternoon for right block. But another stolen base for Garrett Prosper, his second of the year. He's aboard at second for 2 outs for Riley Brody. The right-hander looks in. Here comes the first pitch. Swung on and popped up third base side. Matt Thompson with room down the line. He's there in foul territory to make the catch and retire the Doubledays in the bottom half of the second inning. Both clubs with zeros on the scoreboard. We'll pick this up in the top half of the third inning. Ready now. Here we go, picking things up in the top half of the third inning. The Doubledays and the Tarp Skunks still looking at goose eggs on the scoreboard. Quite a common theme over the last couple of ball games between these two clubs. We mentioned the 6-0 win for the Doubledays back at home on Friday, June 9th, and then just a couple of days ago, back on Friday, the first pitch from Polkovich is a fastball taken on the corner for a called first strike, 0-1 on Drew Garth. Well, we'll finish our point soon, but Cooper's back up on the mound, ready to rock. Third base side of the rubber comes set. Here's the 0-1. Fastball runs above the hands, gets a swing and strike 2. Loses the cap as well in the process. No balls, 2 strikes here in the top of the third inning. Reese sets up away. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Slider taken off the plate for ball 1. Cooper set down 6 in a row so far to begin the ball game. Has Garth on the ropes at 1-2. Reese sets up outside. Here's the 1-2 on the way. Fastball runs out again for ball 2. And Cooper loses his hat once again. See that a lot with pitchers nowadays. They use every single ounce of weight they got on their body to send a throw in, and a lot of times the hat flies right off the top of the head. The lefty deals the 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball waved at and missed for strike 3. Polkovich's 4th strikeout in a row, 7 retired so far. And that will bring up Ryan Middleman, the catcher. The last time Cooper got the start in a doubleheader game 2, they got to go all the way back to game 2 of the doubleheader against the Batavia Muck Dogs. The first pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses in off the plate. Ball 1 to Middleman. Cooper got the complete game win in game 2, shutting out the Muck Dogs. Final score of 1-0. All those games were tight. The 1-0 pitch. Slider popped up left center field. Wenrich gliding over to his arm side. He's there to make the catch in the alleyway for out number 2. 8 in a row retired, and now that brings up Cooper Monroe. So the fans here coming to both of these ball games are getting treated to the local Auburn flavor. He had Kevin Dolan get a single back in game 1. He's now making his way around the 50-50. The first pitch on the way. A fastball runs outside. Ball 1 to Monroe. They got Polkovic on the mound for game 2. Left-hander delivers the 1-0 pitch on the way, swinging a fly ball over our heads, foul out of play. Back on the 14th, Monroe went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Simon Aluko sent him the hat trick. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way, breaking ball, taken for a called strike on the outside corner. Now the count goes to 1-2 on Monroe. 8 batters in a row retired so far for the Doubledays young left-hander. Looks in, gets his sign. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way, popped up on the infield. Reese off with a mask, running out of room down by the dugout. And another foul ball finds the netting above the plate. So we'll try this again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dimensions inside Falcon Park, 330 down both of the foul poles. Plus you got to hit it over a 20-foot fence to clear it. Dead center field, 400 feet, and then Abner's Alley in left center. It's a 413 monster of a shot. We've seen balls roll and tuck into the alley, but never go over. The 1-2 pitch on the way, breaking ball. Taking off the plate away for ball 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a couple of the Doubledays infielders were already making their way towards the third base dugout. Monroe battling at 2-2. At Drury University. The left-hander looks in. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Hammered, taking on a swift for strike 3 over the heart of the plate. Number 5 of the ball game for Polkovic. He is settling in nicely. 9 men retired in a row. We now go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. The Doubledays and the Tarp Skunks in a 0-0 stalemate. Picking things up here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, James Mason, Logan Karowski, and B.J. Banyan. Bottom third of the order to face Joe Reitbach, who's only surrendered 1 hit so far, has struck out 3 Doubledays batters. As he delivers the first pitch to Mason, a line drive into right center field, tailing away from Catanolo, but it hangs up just enough for the Doubledays leadoff batter to be retired. 1 away. That will bring up Karowski. Left-handed bat currently goes to SUNY Cortland. Makes his home just east of us in Syracuse. The first pitch on the way, a breaking ball taken off the plate inside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. The sun is still shining down. I gotta say, those players are very lucky right now. The 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed. Change up outside the zone. At some point, we gotta do a broadcast down into the sun, somewhere down one of the baselines, and just set up shop. I think it would look kind of fun. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way to Karowski. Swung on and missed for a swinging strike 2 on a breaking ball outside. We've seen that a couple of times throughout the years in Major League Baseball. The Phillies are famous for going out into the crowd. The 1-2 pitch on the way, swinging a ground ball over to second base. Zach Kent's got it in stride. The throw to first base is wide and dropped by the first baseman, who's trying to show Ray Bryant, the field umpire, where the baseball is. He didn't look behind him as 108 seams were still rolling on the infield. So an E3, that's a rarity. You don't see the first baseman drop baseballs a ton of times, but the shortstop, Kent, gave him a tough target. Down and had to reach out by his knees. So a free base run for the Doubledays. That brings up B.J. Banyan, the first pitch. Fastball runs a little too tight inside for ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. Seen the Mets also go out to the outfield or somewhere in the crowd and do a road broadcast from the crowd. Looks a lot of fun. The 1-0. Swinging a foul tip off the tip of the glove. Count will leave it up at 1-1. Fortunately, we just don't have enough power outlets to do that. Keep the camera rolling up here, move our other equipment down into the crowd, and get into the environments stuck up here inside the air conditioning. Move over to first base and back in with a dive safely is Korowski. Had a little speed showing off the ground ball, beat out the close play at first base with the first baseman Monroe dropping the baseball. The 1-1 pitch to Banyan. Fastball taken upstairs for ball 2-2-1. It's nice having speed at the 9, 10, and 1 part of your order. Krowski, Banyan, and Gross all with excellent speed. Fernando Espinal also could be also on that list as well. Move over to first base. Back in again with a dive. This one just a little bit closer. Safe is the call. Again, we're once again really we're noticing up here that Alex Alstrom, the left fielder for Jamestown, down the left field line and deep. The 2-1. Swinging a jam shot down the first base side off into the distance and fouled down the line. That left center field alley can be so dangerous. Quetzalano, the center fielder, does have good speed. We saw him run down the baseball from James Mason earlier in the inning. But that gap can widen up really quick. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. The runner takes off, taken down low for a ball. There will be no throw to second base. Logan Korowski swipes his first bag of the year. He's aboard in scoring position with less than 2 outs, and now Banyan's got a 3-2 count in his favor. From 1-2 down to 3-2. Reitbach looks in, sets up from the first base side of the rubber. Here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs in tight off the tricep. So hit by a pitch will put a runner at first and second with 1 away. And here steps in the switch hitter, Carson Gross. So still only 1 away for the Doubledays here in the bottom half of the third inning, and they have the best opportunity of the ball game so far. Playing in on the grass is Matt Thompson at a 45-degree angle. Here's the first pitch on the way to Gross. Is a fastball taken upstairs for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. And I have to question if Thompson will continue to play up close. I think we've seen Carson maybe square around to bunt once so far this year. Thompson hugging the line. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way, swinging a ground ball, tapped foul into the hands of the first base coach, Logan Matson. Thompson does leave that open 6-hole vulnerable if Carson's able just to slap something through the 6-hole. The shortstop, Grady Meek, covering a little closer to second. The 1-1. Breaking ball snaps on the outside corner for a called strike. It's now 1-2. A big line of kids down the first baseline towards the Jamestown bullpen getting ready for the in-between innings promotion. Korowski over at second, Banyan aboard at first base, take their leads. The 1-2 pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Carson Gross ends up hacking on a fastball outside the zone, comes up empty. And with 2 away, that will bring up Fernando Espinal. Strikeout number 4 so far for Joe Reitbach. Both starters are working well into this one. They have the error committed by Jamestown. But other than that, it's been a pretty clean game played regardless so far. Runners at first and second, 2 away. Here's the first pitch on the way for Fernando. Swung and a foul back to the mask of Ryan Middleman, the catcher, on a first pitch breaking ball. Espinal waved down in front of it just a little early. Sure, this is a much nicer sight for the Doubledays to see a right-hander on the mound. Facing against right-handers, the Doubledays are batting .245, an OPS of .730 as a ball club. Slugging's up there at also with a .367. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Espinal comes up empty on an 89-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Some shadows forming in the outfield with the cloud coverage, but other than that, home plate and the rest of the ballpark is lit by the sunshine. Couple looks at second, the 0-2 pitch on the way, swinging a line drive, base hit into center field. Catanilo's up with it. Korowski getting the wave on. Here's the throw to the plate, it's up the line, and in to score is Logan Korowski. Fernando Espinal gets the Doubledays on the board first. It's an RBI single, and the error once again for Jamestown comes back to hurt them in back-to-back ball games. And for the 4th time so far this year, the Doubledays have a first lead against Jamestown, and the inning's not through yet. Here comes Hazel Martinez. The Hazel shift from Jamestown. Everyone on the left side. The first pitch is tapped down the first baseline right to Cooper Monroe. He'll take it himself to retire the side. Auburn strikes first. They lead it 1-0 as we go to the 4th. Picking things up here in the top half of the 4th inning, Cooper Polkovich has a 1-run lead to work with here as we begin inning number 4. The first pitch on the way is a swinging strike 1 to Alex Ahlstrom, the left fielder. Back on game, technically 1 of this series on Friday night. The 0-1 pitch on the way, breaking ball taken in the dirt for ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ahlstrom was entered into pinch run, and then Michael Sills picked him off at first base, and that was the final of that 1-run ball game. 5-4 was your final score. That was a very happy bus ride back home to Auburn, even though we didn't get back till 1:30. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball runs tightly inside on the hands for ball 2, 2 balls, and no strikes. 9 batters in a row retired so far for Cooper. He's rolling right now. Here's the 2-1. Breaking ball swung on and missed off the back foot. Now the count evens up at 2-2. Well, now the second time through the order, a couple more question marks go into play, especially with that top of the order. The left-hander deals the 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Strikeout number 6 for the young left-hander. He is feeling good on the mound and now has to see this Jamestown order once again after the first time through. Let's see if they're able to learn, as Paul Catallo will stride in to lead us off with 1 away. 0 for 1, a line out to right his first time up. First pitch from Cooper is sent high into the sky for ball 1. Always good to see your young hometown guys start to find their groove in a ball game, especially against the number 2 team in the Western Division. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball runs a little too far outside for ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Oh, and you got to imagine, too, the pitch count must feel really good right now for a Double-A starter. Here comes the 2-0. Fastball runs a bit high for ball 3, 3-0. Now has to work a little bit. 10 batters in a row retired to start the ball game. Is in trouble here with the leadoff man in Paul Catanalo. Here comes the 3-0. Fastball grooved on the inside corner for a called strike. It's now 3-1. Banyan, Wenrich, and Krowski out in the outfield for Auburn, with Mason Gross up the third base. The breaking ball on 3-1 misses outside for ball 4, so that ends a 10 in a row retired home plate umpire, letting them know it's outside. Benji Reese also confirms the outside pitch, and now there's a 1 runner on here in the top of the 4th inning. That will bring up Grady Mee. Defensive, though, you got James Mason, Carson Gross, Riley Brody, and Garrett Prosper on the infield. Benji Reese doing the catching. Healthy lead off first base, a move to the bag, and back in safely is the runner. Crowd has only grown double and maybe even triple from earlier this afternoon. Couple of looks in. Here comes the first pitch. Fastball runs tight on the corner for a called strike. It's now 0-1. And up to this point, we're seeing one of the better zones from our home plate umpire tonight. Actually, Ray Bryant, who's out in the field right now, does a pretty good zone back in game 1. Here's the 0-1 on the way. Breaking ball runs inside tight for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike evens the count. Always good to see umpires taking pride in their craft. Move over to first base, back in with a dive safely at first. Talking with a couple of Major League players, they say the home plate umpires in Major League Baseball are among the best in the world, and that is a clear statement. The throw to first base back in standing, a little bit less intent on that first one. But there's a little difference between the newer umpires and the older umpires in the game. The newer umpires work a little bit harder on their craft, look to find a ways to get better, as a 1-1 pitch is sent foul, third base side off the railing of the dugouts. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count to me. But you got a little bit of the older generation of umpires who usually say our way or the highway. And that's where you have the interesting strike zone. You have the complaints from fans and players alike. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball popped up on the infield. Reese again off of the mask. Again runs out of room as this one falls off onto the netting shelf behind the plate. Try this again at 1 ball and 2 strikes with the runner on at first base. 1 away in the top half of the 4th inning. Doubledays with a 1-0 lead, thanks to the RBI single by Fernando Espinal. Left-hander leans in. Couple looks over at first. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive. Roasted foul. Look out, Emil. Emil Sander down the third baseline, was heading back from the dugout from the clubhouse and almost found a baseball in his lap. One ball, two strikes, one away. The runner takes his lead off first base. There goes the runner. Pitch is swung on left center field. A.J. Wenrich is there to make the catch. Brody with a bluff move at second base, but plenty of time for the center fielder, Paul Catanalo, to make his way back to first base. 2 outs, and now that'll bring up Matt Thompson. A little bit of a slower top of the fourth inning. A lot of pitches have been thrown for Cooper comparative to the last couple of innings when he struck out the side in the second inning. First pitch on the way to Thompson, swung on a line drive, right field. Korowski slipping and sliding. Does he lay out to make the catch? He does somehow. Keeps his feet long enough and comes away with the baseball in the process. It doesn't matter how much it looks, as long as the catch is made to retire the side. Doubledays escape trouble as we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning. They lead it 1-0. Picking things up here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Meat of the order for the Doubledays. 4, 5, and 6. A.J. Wenrich, Garrett Prosper, and Benji Reese. To figure out Joe Reitbach, who's been pretty good up to this point so far. Delivers the first pitch on the way to Wenrich, and it's a swinging strike, 0-1. The only trouble he's been in was back in the third inning after a quick first out. The 0-1 pitch comes in. Fastball runs up too tight for ball one. It was an error by the first baseman, Cooper Monroe, that put Logan Korowski on at first. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Slider misses off the plate away for ball two. Korowski stole second base and then ended up scoring on a Fernando Espinal single. Here comes the 2-1 pitch on the way, swinging a golf shot foul down the first base side out into play. 2 balls and 2 strikes evens up the count. AJ using a different bat than we're used to seeing him. It looks like he might have grabbed the locker of Michael Woolley, his Victus. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way, swinging a jam foul down the third base line. We'll try it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. AJ sitting on 6 doubles so far this year and 13 hits. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Slider swung on and missed outside for strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Wenrich. Strikeout number 5 on the ball game for Reitbach. 1 away, that'll bring up Garrett Prosper. And the strikeout bug has been really ripping through this Doubledays order for the last couple of ball games. Here's the first pitch to Prosper. Fastball taken on the outside corner for a called first strike. Garrett 1 for 1 with a base hit back in the second inning. He was left stranded at second after a stolen bag. The 0-1 pitch. Slider misses outside for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Auburn entered into the ball game back yesterday. The 1-1 pitch. Swinging a foul, first base side out of play. Entered into the ball game striking out as a ball club 215 times. That number has obviously changed over the course of the last couple of games, but it's just been really just skyrocketed over the last week or so. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball spiked in the dirt for ball 2, and it hit the umpire up into the rib cage area. He's going to need to take an extra second to readjust. I'll send Prosper down to third base coach's box, Ben Julian. Nice little early afternoon ball game. Game 1 at 2 o'clock. That one wrapped up relatively quick, right before 4 o'clock, so we were able to get game 2 started just around 4:30. The 2-2 pitch on the way, taken outside for ball 3. Prosper's worked a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away. Here's the pitch on the way. Swinging a ground ball over to second base. Kent's got it. This toss is a little bit more routine to Monroe at first base, and it's in time for out number 2. I'll bring up Benji Reese. Auburn liking to play a lot of these tight ball games over the last couple of days. Mentioned the game 1 was a 1-run victory back on Friday night. That was a 1-run victory as well. Breaking ball taken down low for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Most 1-run games ultimately come down to whose bullpen is better. As Reese sees the 1-0 pitch, swung on, fouled back to the screen overhead. Count evens at 1. You have to have a lot of confidence in your ability on pitching to hold you with a slim lead. 1-1 pitch is outside for ball 2, 2-1. Cleveland Guardians are a team that really embraces a 1-run victories with their bullpen strength. 2-1 pitch is cracked. Right field, shallow. Going out is Zach Kent. He's there to make the catch to retire the side. Well, Doubledays go 1, 2, 3 in order. We now go to the 5th inning. It's still a slim one. It's 1-0 Auburn. Picking things up here in the top half of the 5th inning, the Doubledays with a very, very tight 1-run lead. As Cooper Polkovich is back out for another inning of work against the Tarp Skunks. He's got the meat of the order 4, 5, and 6. Evan Fragala, Luke Fuller, and Zach Kent. All three struck out the first time against him, and the first pitch is swung on and missed on the inside corner. It is 0-1 the count. Fragala, a strikeout swing in his first time up. Here's the 0-1. Swinging a line drive back to the screen, foul. It's now 0-2. Something about the 7-inning ball games for Cooper is kind of just what motivates him to grind through these games. Times where he's had starting the 9 innings, he's started to show signs of struggle, but here he is really finding his flow like he did against Batavia. Here comes the 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs above the eyes for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That sun still laying right into the eyes of the right side of the infield as long with right field. Prosper with the shades on. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. How about a 7 spot for Cooper Polkovich here tonight? He's matched his season high so far this year, 1 away, and that will bring up Luke Fuller. Looks like Kurowski has the shades on in right field as well, and Cooper Monroe, the first baseman for Jamestown, as the first pitch is delivered, a breaking ball off the plate away for ball 1. But it was a fly ball to right field in the prior inning for Benji Reese, and the first baseman for Jamestown had no idea where the baseball was. 1-0 pitch, breaking ball, does not snap in over the plate for ball 1. Make that ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes on Fuller. Brody, no sunglasses at second base. He keeps the hat as low as he can below his eyes to cover any sort of sun. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way. Breaking ball popped up, and the baseball finds the first base side. It's Garrett Prosper who runs in. He's there to make the catch middle of the infield. And there's 2 away quickly here in the 5th. That will bring up Zach Kent. I'll talk about pace of play over the last couple of seasons in Major League Baseball, and ever since the implementation of the pitch clock, these games have really sped up. First pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive, roasted down the left field line, but it will hook off into the bullpen's foul. 0-1 the count to Kent. But about 30 to 45 minutes of game time has been shaved off over the course of the year so far. The 0-1 pitch, fastball runs a bit high for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike evens up the count. Cooper does not need a pitch clock. He's really on his own, and even if there was one, we'd still be have plenty of time for him as the fastball runs upstairs for ball 2, and there goes the hat again, first time this inning. As much as a lot of people have liked the pitch clock, there's also been a lot of fans who have certainly not liked it in the back end of games. The 2-1. Hammer taken on the outside corner for a called strike 2. Can go into the details a little bit deeper on at some point, but especially when a game gets tight in the later innings, you really kind of wish the game could slow down as much as possible and not have to be dictated by the clock. Left-hander delivers the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, that one does not snap in for ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count runs full. Good amount of fans here have been here since about 1 o'clock when the stadium opened up for game 1. We're just about 20 minutes below the 6 o'clock hour. The left-hander looks in, gets his sign. Here's the 3-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball roasted down the line, foul off the retaining wall and bounces back onto the field of play. So Steve LaRose, the pitching coach, will take the very slow jog out to get to the baseball and make his way back into the bullpen. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Base is empty. Top of the 5th inning in a 1-run game. Polkovich comes set. Here's the payoff pitch on the way. Fastball a bit too high for ball 4. It's the second walk surrendered in this one by Polkovich, and now he's got to deal with Drew Garth with a runner aboard and 2 outs. The Doubledays have figured out the offensive strategy for Jamestown. It's no secret why they have 101 bags swiped this year. There goes the runner. Breaking ball taken upstairs. The throw to second. Nobody's covering the bag. Carson Gross ranges across and gets the baseball collected. There's another stolen bag for Zach Kent, his 16th of the year so far. He's been only caught once. He's aboard in scoring position, representing the tying run. Dancing off the bag at second. Couple of looks over. Here's the 1-0. Fastball fouled off behind us. Try that 1-1. But yes, indeed, the running game for Jamestown has been their bread and butter. We talk about their slugging numbers being down to a .299 prior to game 1. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball, good stop by Reese. Keeps the baseball in his kitchen. 2 balls and a strike. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 away. Tying run at second base with healthy speed. Wunrich with the best arm. He's in center field. We have not seen Korowski or Banyans yet. The pitch. Breaking ball outside for ball 3. 3-1 now the count. Couple of bodies in the bullpen for the Doubledays, but nobody has got up to throw yet. Looks like Andrew Isdale has his glove. He could be the possible first man up. The left-hander looks. Here comes the 3-1 pitch on the way to the plate. Breaking ball taken over the heart for a called strike 2. Full count now at 3-2, and now the question on what do you go with here? Do you continue to throw that good breaking ball, or do you decide to stick with the heat? Runner at second. Kent takes his lead. Here's the payoff pitch on the way. Fastball too high. A very easy take for Garth. Sends the bat in the elbow guard towards the first base dugout. And now that will get the bullpen for the Doubledays stirring a little bit, with Benji Reese going out to have a quick mound visit to the young left-hander. Back-to-back walks in the 5th after 2 quick outs. Bullpen catcher will make his way out to the bullpen, and it looks like Joe Gleason is back up in. Looks like he's going to start stretching and tossing. So how about this? You have a reliever throwing game 1 for just a quick inning, and then now you have him possibly getting up to throw another one here in game 2. Ryan Middleton, the batter, now with first and second on the pitch. First pitch is swung on, line drive. Shallow center field, sinking in for a base hit. Wenrich has to play it on a hop. Here comes Kent on the score. And this game is tied here in the top half of the 5th inning. And the rest of the bullpen for the Doubledays starts to scurry a little bit more with the tying run in the score. And now the go-ahead run sits at third base with 2 away. And it just took a blooper to shallow center field to get Jamestown on the board. But it's those walks that hurt you. First pitch on the way. Fastball taken for a called strike outside on Cooper Monroe. Auburn still hasn't really figured out the other side's pitching yet as well. So this is still a pitcher's duel through and through. The 0-1 pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Runner takes off, the throw in his second base, and now they'll bring him a run. And the tag will be applied to the runner in between first and second. So a run does come across the score on a delayed steal. This game is now in the hands of Jamestown. It's 2-1 as we now go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. moving quite along in this one. Here we are in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Doubledays down 2-1 for the first time this summer. The Jamestown Tarp Skunks have a lead over the Doubledays as Riley Barati will step in to lead things off. He sees a first pitch miss outside for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the 1-0 to Barati. Taken upstairs for ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Barati popped out in foul territory to the third baseman, Matt Thompson, his first time up. The 2-0. Swinging a foul back to the screen overhead. 2 balls and a strike to the Doubledays second baseman. Here's the right-handers 2-1 on the way. Fastball taken upstairs for ball 3, 3-1. And if there's somebody who knows the strike zone as good as anybody else, 2 people you'd probably take from the Doubledays are Hazel Martinez and Riley Barati. 3-1 pitch is chopped foul down the first base side. Count goes full to 3-2 here with nobody out. Barati, Mason, and Korowski. 7, 8, and 9 due up with BJ Banyan, the 10 hitter, if it gets to him. Here's the 3-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a jam shot, shallow left center field. Does it have some real estate? Laying out and making another grab. This time it's Alex Ahlstrom in left field to take a single away from Riley Barati. That's twice in this ball game where the corner outfielders have laid out to take base hits away from the Doubledays. It's amazing how much room, though, that Ahlstrom had to cover. First pitch taken down low for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Playing deep down the left field line and ranging all the way into shallow left center field to make the play. The 1-0 pitch is taken inside off the corner for ball 2. Mason with an RBI single, his first one of the season collected in the game 1. The 2-0 pitch is down low for ball 3, and back-to-back batters see 3-0 to start an at-bat. Logan Korowski awaits on deck. Here comes the 3-0. Taken on the outside corner for a called first strike. 3-1. Mason with a big leg kick to get his timing down. Here comes the 3-1. Runs upstairs for ball 4. So a 5-pitch walk to James Mason. Puts a runner aboard with 1 away, and that brings up Logan Korowski. Well, Logan hit a ground ball to the second baseman, but Zach Kent's throw to first base was dropped by Cooper Monroe, and he was aboard. Later came around to score on the Fernando Espinal single. First pitch, swing, jam shot into left field down the line, but right there is Alex Ahlstrom to take care of it. Korowski put it in the right spot, but wrong area. Ahlstrom hasn't moved very far from the line this afternoon. Two away, and that will bring up BJ Banyan. First pitch. Swung and chopped foul. Look out, Logan. Logan Madsen with the shell cap ducking for his life. That was almost the second time we've had to take him down to the ER in Auburn. Have to get him an L screen and make sure he stays behind it. Move over to first base, back in with a dive safely. This is James Mason. There's a little backstory, but we don't have enough time to get into it with 2 outs. Maybe we'll pick it up in the top of the 6th. Here's the 0-1. Slider misses down and away for ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike, evens up the count. Doubledays down a run. It's 2-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning in a 7-inning game. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Banyan chasing a slider down and away. Now down 1-2. Looking for his first hit as a member of the Doubledays. With a look over to first base, Mason inches off the bag. Here's the 1-2. Fastball bounces in the dirt. Mason bounding back to the bag at first base with the catcher Middleman ready to snap and throw for. Outfield shading in and shallow. Infield spread wide. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Banyan comes up empty on a ball in the dirt, and that retires the side. Doubledays get a man aboard with a walk, but leave him stranded. We now go to the top of the 6th. Doubledays trailing 2-1. Moving forward here in the top half of the 6th inning, the Doubledays currently trailing 2-1 over the Tarp Skunks. Cooper Polkovich back out for another inning of work. Delivers the first pitch. Is a changeup, swung on and missed. It's 0-1 the count to Cooper Monroe. He was hitting when Ryan Middleman was caught stealing in between first and second, but a run did come across to score. The 0-1 pitch on the way. Changeup taken on the outside corner again for a called strike 2. Pitchers duel in game 2. I mean, really, both of these, almost all 3 of these games over the last weekend have been pitchers duel between the Doubledays and the Skunks. 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, taken upstairs for ball 1, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fans getting a little rowdy in the ballpark. They want a 50-50 number called. They're anxious to get their money on some cold hard cash. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball lined into left field for a base hit past the outstretched glove of Carson Gross. Only the second single hit for the Tarp Skunks. The first one came back in the 5th inning. It was actually the RBI single by Ryan Middleman, which was the first hit of the ball game. 1 on, and that will bring up Alex Alstrom, the 10-hitter, before the top of the order comes up. 2 guys in the bullpen for the Doubledays are tossing right now. Joe Gleason throwing, bunt squared, bunt gets put down. Polkovich has got it, never mind. Little bobble, throws from his knees. The throw to first base is just in time. A good recovery by the young left-hander down the first base line. Tried to pick and spin the baseball over to first base. Lost his footing and slipped. Grabbed the baseball with his bare hand and still sent a toss over to first base from his knee. And was able to get the runner in Alstrom out at first base. Though the sacrifice does work out with the runner now in scoring position. And 1 away. Top of the order, Paul Catanalo is up. The first pitch, lefty-lefty. Fastball dots the outside corner for a called strike. Can't exactly see who the other guy is warming up in the bullpen, but Joe Gleason just got done throwing. He's ready to go. From the ear, Polkovich looks in. Here comes the 0-1. Swinging a foul back to the screen. It's now 0-2. .555, just pushing close to the 6 o'clock time. Polkovich comes set. After he gets his sign from Reese, Wenrich moving in from center. The 0-2 pitch, slider misses off the plate away for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The sun is still shining down here inside Falcon Park. A glorious day for baseball. A great day to get a doubleheader in, especially after the weather increments we've seen over the last couple of days. Time is called by Catanalo. He takes a step out of the box before looking in. Polkovich working his way back onto the rubber, working from the third base side. He comes down to a knee, looking into the sign from Reese. Comes set. Looks at second, the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, freezes him for strike 3 on the outside corner. Cooper Polkovich gets the second out of the inning. And now time is called as he takes care of the left-hander, and that might do it for the young Auburn native as the whole infield comes out. The Doubledays bullpen ready and locked. Joe Gleason coming out. A handshake from Polkovich over to Ben Julian. He has done his job well. He now turns it over to the bullpen. A one-run ball game. We'll tell you a little bit more about Joe Gleason again when we come back. Joe Gleason takes over for Cooper Polkovich, who threw well. 5 2/3 innings. He gave up 2 hits, 2 runs. Only one of those was earned. Walk 3, struck out 8. A dominant performance overshadowed, unfortunately, by a tough break in the top of the 5th inning. Gleason's job is to hold this thing right where it's at so the Doubledays can go back to the bats and see if they can crack the code on Jamestown pitching here in the game 2. Here's the first pitch on the way from Gleason, a fastball taken down low at 86 for ball 1. Gleason followed up Huxley Holcomb back in game 1, went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 1. The 1-0. Swing, line drive, right center field, right to Krowski, who moves over and makes the catch. So 2 pitches and an out for Joe Gleason, as that holds us to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Doubledays only down a run. It's 2-1 here on the Doubledays Baseball Network. Bottom six, the Doubledays are trying to figure out Joe Reitbach. He has been dominant so far in this one, only surrendering 2 hits and 1 run. That's an unearned run back in the 3rd inning. Carson Gross, Fernando Espinal, and Hazel Martinez will lead things off. The first pitch is a slider taken on the hands for a called strike 1. Carson an 0 for 2 night so far. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Waves out in front of a curveball on his back knee. Now down 0-2 in the count. Jake Houtz starts to get loose in the bullpen for the Doubledays. Here comes the 0-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive, right center field. That's getting down, and it's going to head for the alley. Gross on his way around first base. He is flying around third base, making that second base, getting the wave on. He's into third base with a sliding triple. And that gets the Doubledays bottom of the 6th inning started right. Well, you get behind a first pitch fastball, and then you wave at a slider in the dirt. So the next pitch you get, you hunt it, and you drive it into the right center field alley. And as soon as that ball hit the turf and it skipped away, it was automatic 3 bases for Carson Gross. That brings in Fernando Espinal with a runner at third base. And in is drawn the infield for the Tarp Skunks. Point blank range against the Doubledays extra hitter tonight. Now we're waiting for looks like we were waiting for a delay. We're back underway. Runner at third base. Nobody out in a 1-run ball game. Here's the right-hander's first pitch. Swing and a ground ball foul down the third baseline. It looks like the delay was between Ben Julian and the third baseman, Matt Thompson. Thompson bluffed the throw coming into third. Sent a phantom tag. Gross was pretty much going into third base standing regardless, but came in with a slide anyways. Here comes the 0-1 pitch on the way, taking in the dirt for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Back on Wednesday night, maybe no, Thursday night, that was the Doubledays had the tying run at third base with nobody out in the 9th inning. Could not get him across. The 1-1. Swinging a ground ball, chopped foul down the third baseline once again, and now it's 1-2. Espinal, the RBI single back in the 3rd inning. That scored Logan Kurowski. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Check swing. Does it get by? Never mind, the baseball gets away from Ryan Middleman, but not far enough for Carson to take off for home plate. It just stayed close to the Auburn dugout down the third base side. Espinal does not go around, and now the count will even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. (2-1) our score. Carson representing the tying run at third base. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive off to the shortstop. Grady Mee, he's got it. The throw to first base is in time. Gross back to third base, held up. 1 away. That brings up Hazel Martinez. This is going to be an interesting shift as Hazel Martinez is up. Wow. The entire left side of the infield is pulled behind the pitcher's mound on the left side. The first pitch to Martinez. Swung on, line drive, left field for a base hit. Hazel Martinez finds the open shortstop hole and serves a rainbow into left field. And we are all tied up at 2-2. I've seen that shift only once in my life between the Los Angeles Dodgers and I believe it was the Colorado Rockies, where every single man on the infield was swung in between second and first, with Adrian Gonzalez hitting the first pitch, misses down and low for ball 1. Maybe it was James Loney, the batter, but regardless, Hazel Martinez with the shifted single base hit. All tied up here in the 6th inning. The pitch to A.J. Wenrich, high drive, deep left field, down the line, hooking, stay fair, it's gone! A.J. Wenrich punches his first home run down the left field line, and the Doubledays take a 4-2 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. First home run of the season for A.J. Wenrich. We've been waiting for this one forever. And it comes with one away here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Doubledays bench is out in front of the dugout. Gets a slam from Bobby Stang, his teammate at Georgia Southern. For AJ, that's RBIs, number 3 and number 4. It is a 4-2 Doubledays lead. That brings up Garrett Prosper. The first pitch on the way, swinging, popped up on the infield off of the mask. Is Middleman. It lands over our heads. How about A.J. Wenrich? Fastball ambushing the first pitch, drives it well down the left field line. The only question was if it was going to stay fair. The 0-1 pitch to Prosper misses outside for ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. Now this ballpark is lit right back up. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball runs upstairs for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Here's the 2-1. Fastball runs outside for ball 3, 3-1. And now the frustration from Joe Reitbach is starting to settle in. Here's the 3-1 to Prosper. Upstairs for ball 4. This one is not ending anytime soon. And now a right-hander quickly starts to throw in the bullpen down the line. And now time is called as looks like the pitching coach and Barry Powell is going to take a quick trip out to the mound, and he's pointing down the line. So that closes the book on Joe Reitbach. The Doubledays finally chase him thanks to a 2-run home run by A.J. Wenrich. We will be right back here on the Doubledays Baseball Network. Bottom of the 6th, 3 runs already in. And we're back here with a pitching change. Luke Fuller. We saw him taking swings in game 1. He's now on the bump in game 2. The first pitch to Benji Reese is a fastball upstairs for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Garrett Prosper aboard at first base. He walked as the last batter that Reitbach seen. First pitch to make that the 1-0 pitch to Reese is a fastball taken on the outside corner for a called strike. It's 1-1 the count. There's your insurance for you. A.J. Wenrich coming up with a 2-run game-breaking home run that gave the Doubledays the lead. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball runs inside tight for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. AJ also brought in the bat slam. Not needing a bat flip, it was a bat slam. Prosper the lead at first. Move over back to the bag, and in diving is safely. Well, it's about time we saw AJ finally take one out of the yard. We've seen him hit him so far in batting practice. The 2-1 to Reese. Swinging a line drive back to the screen, foul. It's 2-2. But we have just seen the baseballs fly out of this ballpark in batting practice. And with the win today, we wasn't really sure if the right-handers would get an opportunity or not to let one leave the yard. But with a calm breeze just going out gently, ball was going to go out no matter what. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken upstairs for a called third strike on Reese. Second time he sees the strike 3 called. Oh, the crowd here inside Falcon Park always likes to make their voices heard. I'll bring up Riley Brody with 2 away and a runner aboard. Now the Doubledays, all they need is 3 outs, and that sends Michael Sills back out to the bullpen as well, along with, it looks like James Moore is starting to throw. So you have to make a decision on who you want to go to first. You go to your bona fide closer, or do you go to one of your bullpen arms or your spot start arms? Prosper the lead off first base. Here comes the 1-0. Swinging a line drive back to the screen, foul. It's now ball and 2 strikes. Brody redigs himself into the left-hand batter's box. The right-hander leans over, gets his sign. Prosper with the lead off first. A move to the bag. Back in diving safely is Garrett. 6:13 local time. Hopefully by the end of the last pitch, it will be a little bit closer to around 6:23. The 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on and make that now a strike 2. Now it's a 1-2 count. Prosper will be off that contact. Takes his lead off the bag. Fuller looks in the 1-2. Swinging a ground ball down the first base line. Kicked off the glove of Cooper Monroe, and he recollects the baseball and then taps up first base himself to retire the side. We now go to the top of the 7th inning. The Doubledays have a 4-2 lead. How about A.J. Wenrich in center field, blasting his first home run as a Doubleday. Gives them a 4-2 lead, as now Tarp Skunks are down to their final 3 outs. Guess who's back? Michael Sills is back on the mound for the Doubledays, looking for his second save of the day. Got the first one in game 1. Has some help in the bullpen just in case. Alex Piccolo and James Moore warming up. Sills, first pitch, fastball runs inside and fouled back to the screen. 0-1 the count. Matt Thompson, Evan Fragala, and Luke Fuller, 3, 4, and 5 to see if they can muster up 2 runs against the Doubledays, premier closer. Little pause, here's the 0-1. Slider taken over the heart of the plate for a called strike 2. Sills has a man right where he needs him. Looks into Benji, gets his sign, sets up outside on the corner, up high. The 0-2 pitch on the way, fastball taken for strike 3 at the knees on the inside corner. Matt Thompson left frozen in the box. 1 away, that brings up Evan Fragala. Here's Sills' first pitch on the way. Taken at the knees for a called first strike. It's 0-1. In a game that had zeros written all across the board, a 2-run 5th and a 3-run 6th has brought us where we're at now. A little jam shot to shortstop. Mason's going to cut across Gross. He's going to send a bounce pass over to first base. That's well off the bag of Garrett Prosper. A do-or-die play on the infield. Puts a 1-out base runner aboard at first base on the single, and that brings up the designated hitter, Luke Fuller. Designated hitter has been used now as a pitcher, and now time is called as it looks like we're going to maybe see a pinch runner, perhaps. Yes, we will indeed. Kieran Gagno will take over running the bases for Rahela at first base. Sills ready. Move over to first base. Back in. Ooh, just in time. Sills got a man picked off to end the game back on Friday night. Back in Jamestown. Comes set. The first pitch. Slider. Roped down the line. That's a base hit. BJ Banyan will play this off the wall. It's going to rattle. Rounding third and getting the stop sign is Gagno. Moving up to second base is Luke Fuller with a double. And now the tying run sits in scoring position with 1 away. And now time is called as we could possibly see maybe another pinch runner come in. Oh, this is all Fuller running himself. So that brings up Zach Kent. Still looking for his first official at bat. Scratch that. 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Stolen base and a run scored as well. The first pitch from Sills. Swinging a jam, swing foul down the first baseline. 0-1 the count to Zach Kent. Struck out swinging to end the second inning, and then a walk and a run scored in the 5th. Runners at second and third, they take their leads. Here comes the 0-1. Swinging a line drive center field, sinks in for a base hit. Wenrich up with the baseball. 1 run in to score. The throw goes all the way back to the plate. And in safely is the runner at third. So now it's back to a 3-4 ball game. Tying run sits on the corner. And now time is called as Ben Julian heads out to the mound to talk with his closer. So hold your breath here inside Falcon Park. This game is not over yet. Alex Piccolo, he's in the bullpen ready. James Moore as well in the bullpen ready. But you're more or less using those guys in case of emergency. That's now Piccolo throwing alone in the left field bullpen. And Julian's taking a long time in this conversation. Both umpires are now going to make their way out to the mound. One run in the bottom half of the third for the Doubledays. 2 runs in the top of the 5th inning for Jamestown, and then 3 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. So far, 1 here in the 7th. 3-4 our score now, both sides with 5 hits apiece. Auburn 4 runs on 5 hits, no errors. Jamestown on 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. Needs a ground ball to one of his middle infielders, Michael Sills, to Drew Garth. The first pitch on the way, fastball, misses the outside edge at 88 for ball 1. Things change rather quickly here in the game of baseball, especially in the late innings. Sills comes set, working off the bag at first base is Kent. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball runs off the plate for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Everyone on the edge of their seat here inside Falcon Park for this conclusion. Sunday afternoons always lead to drama late in the day. Move over to first base, back in with a dive safely is Kent. Fuller aboard at third base, he represents the tying run. Kent aboard at first base represents the go-ahead run. Sills set, here's the 2-0. Swinging a line drive, left field down the line. Mason giving a chase after it, but it ends up down towards the grass berm in foul territory. Out of play, and now the count goes to 2-1. Jordan Buzzhill, the manager, flashing signs from the third base coach's box. Runners take their leads at the corners, and made that a 1-run ball game. Sills set, mover to first base, back in with a dive safely is Kent again. Sills keeping a close eye on that go-ahead run at first base. Knowing that Jamestown does like to pull a lot of sneaky base running tactics. The 2-1. Fastball taken across the heart of the plate for a called strike 2 at 89. Velocity for Sills is running back up to the 90s. 6:24 our time here inside Falcon Park. The right-hander leans over, gets his sign. Kent working off the bag at first base. Pause at the belt. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. A slider over the heart of the plate. Gets Garth Hacking out in front, and now there's 2 outs. That brings up the catcher and Ryan Middleman as the last hope. Second strikeout of the ball game for Michael Sills since entering on, and here it comes. Out number 21. Runners at first and third, 1-run ball game. Sills delivers the first pitch. Swing a line drive, first base side, out of play. Auburn looking for their 3rd straight 1-run victory against Jamestown and looking for their 4th overall victory on the summer. Sills, couple of shakes of the head before with a nod. Working from the first base side, comes set. Now time is called as Middleman wants an extra second to get whatever is in his eye out. No one has left this ballpark yet. They're ready to see the conclusion of the finale. Sills ready. The 0-1 pitch comes in from the right-hander. Runner takes off. Ground ball. Back to Sills. He's got it. Takes it himself. Flips it to Prosper. And the ball game is over. Auburn wins another 1-run victory by the final score of 4-3. This one was an absolute nail-biter all the way to the finish. A.J. Wenrich, the 2-run home run, pales the difference, as the Doubledays also are 4-0 on the season series against the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. They improve on their record to 15-16, a game below 500, go into a day off tomorrow, and they're feeling really, really good. We'll see you next time on the Doubledays Baseball Network. We'll be back on for Tuesday night against the Niagara Power out in Newark, and then we're back here at home for a doubleheader between the Newark Pilots. We'll see you next time. I'm Trevor Curl. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back on the Doubledays Baseball Network.